Good morning. I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Who is your daddy and what does he do? Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Hello everyone and welcome to HiveSideCast, to the third Meet the Player series, and this time we're gonna have double players. Oh woo! Here with me are Dusk and Tempest, and we have a lot of fun time already, and we haven't even started the recording. So I'm just hoping what's gonna be now. So hello guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello, sir.
It could be better, but still.
Of course.
So let me find you on the map, guys. There we go. We're following Tempest now.
Don't follow me.
Okay, let's find Dusk.
Shy.
Let's find Dusk then.
I'm in a pause about to die, so let's see what happens.
Okay, so question. You can decide who's gonna answer first, but pretty much, who are you, where do you come from, and what do you do for a living?
So I'm Dusk.
well,
I'm from Reno, Nevada, in the United States, and I work in the furniture business. I wholesale furniture across the United States. I'm also a civil engineer, and I just got a kill.
Congrats.
How about you?
It's gonna. Well, my name's Tempest. Real name is Chris, as most people know. I live in Chicago, Illinois. Right now I have 3 jobs that I'm working on. My main one is I'm a security analyst for a big financial company in Chicago. My other job is, well, I run ns2servers.com and keep pretty good high-performing servers up for the NS2 community that people can rent. And then my last job is I go out and I deliver discount pharmacy cards that get me, every time someone gets a prescription through it, I get like 25 cents.
Yeah, I almost thought you were gonna say you're going out and delivering pizzas.
No, I don't have that much time.
I work for a
But
high-tech
basically
security company, and I deliver pizzas.
Yeah. At this point, like, the server business that I started earlier this year is just, booming. It's going crazy ever since the release of NS2. So I basically have 2 full-time jobs right now, and I have very little time anymore to play the game actually. So
Well,
this is actually the first time I've played NS2 in about a week.
so good thing I managed to catch you for this interview here.
Yeah. It's completely different when you're playing the game for fun rather than playing the game and making a profit off of it.
Of course, of course. So how did you guys find about NS2?
So I played NS1, from the launch day back in 2002, and just, stayed with NS1 for a long time. It was my favorite game, and then every now and then I just Google to see if there was any thought of NS2, and when they announced that it was going to happen, I pre-ordered on the first day available. Stuck with it ever since.
Yeah, so you didn't do it.
I got a kill.
So you didn't do it for the black armor now, did you?
Oh, I'm glad I got the black armor. I'd be embarrassed if I had to run around with green armor.
Is that something pointed towards
nice.
Dusk, or?
Yeah, it helped me pick my name.
Right.
How about you, Tempest?
So for me, it's pretty much the same. I started, playing NS1 when it was first released, and was playing it for a real long time. Every once in a while I'd take a break, but I've always been following the game. And, when I saw in 2007 that they were releasing NS2, or starting work on it, I was thrilled because NS1 at that point was pretty much the best game that I've ever played, multiplayer. And, I was looking forward to playing NS2. Took a while to come out, but, here I am. Did the server just crash?
No, you crashed. You're running blindly. You're running blindly in the spot, and I'm gonna record it for future shows. Look how you're like an eager beaver trying to run somewhere, but you're actually running on spot, like on a treadmill.
Oh.
Treadmill skulks. So basically,
Alright, I'm loading back.
what would you say, guys? How Inversion was founded, and what's the history of it?
Well, I'll start this one. So originally, more than a year ago, we were originally Anagram. We formed around a guy who really no longer plays the game, and after playing a couple games and such, we decided that we wanted to break off and form our own team. So pretty much everyone who was currently on the team at the time decided, hey, we're gonna form this new team. We're gonna call it Inversion. Of those people, I think we had like 6 or 7 people who originally part of the team. We still have 3 of those on the current team that we have. So we still have, a number of the original founding members here. And that would be Dusk, Andrew, aka Sicknick, and myself. So we all, basically kept playing, and we were heavily involved in the game around the time that the NS2 HD tournament was supposed to happen. That was last year, around this time, about a month prior to this.
Right. So.
And yeah, and then after that, because there really wasn't much going on competitively, everyone kind of went their own way. We started playing Diablo 3 and stuff together, and then other games, and we've been hanging out all the time. So, but some people that originally were on the team really are not interested in the game anymore, so they're off doing other things. And we came back, and been having fun ever since.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything else you want to add, Dusk.
That pretty much covers it.
Yeah, I have to say that Inversion is one of the better North American teams, although you don't play, as you said, competitive that much.
Yeah, right now, people tend to get frustrated with the current build, especially with the Onos. Now that the Onos has changed, we'll be scrimming more often and trying different things out. But due to Thanksgiving this week, it's kind of hard to get everyone together. But yeah, we didn't want to get burned out by, actively scrimming builds that we knew were probably going to change. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everything that works in this build was not even planned 10 builds ago, because there were a lot of changes.
Yeah, there's
That's one
a
of
lot
the
of
things.
changes.
Yeah, we'll be scrimming more in the future, and it's one of those things too of where we'll, if we have an immediate goal, a tournament that's coming up or anything like that, we tend to play a lot more than, just when there's nothing going on.
True that. And what would you say, guys? Are there any advices for new NS2 players, be it casual or competitive?
Well, basically what I would say to people who are interested in getting into the competitive scene is, right now, especially on the NA side, it's quite hard for teams to form, and basically you don't need everything. You don't need a website, you don't need a server, you don't need all this. You can go to different teams and ask to use their server, to basically start it. Joining the gathers that ENSL runs, those are good, because you can kind of get your name known out in the community. Right now, I'd rather see people forming their own teams rather than joining current teams, just because some of the current teams, I'd like to see a more diverse.
If we want the community to grow, we need a lot more teams to start growing and getting all their new players up to speed and everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I've actually been working with Arga for NS2 Hub putting up a server that would just be for competitive use. So it'd be like a public competitive private server, if that makes
Yeah,
any sense.
well,
And you know, the teams could kind of schedule, book slots on it, time periods to schedule scrims and whatnot. I don't know how far he is along with that, but I know he's busy with a lot of other things, and I have to give him a shout out because of the work he's done on NS2 Hub and all that. Really, really a lot of help he's doing for the community. And if people aren't, aware of it, ns2hub.com,
yeah,
your #1 source of NS2 related material and information.
that's pretty much we covered the next question because that was any good NS2 sites out there. But
Yeah.
we kind of always do it in this question. Any advices for new players? And everyone mentions NS2 Hub, so okay, I can kind of cross that question from my list for further interviews, and we're just gonna skip to the next one. What did you say about the current competitive scene? There's a ESL league starting, from which I know it's gonna be something elimination, but I think it's European only, and then there's the ENSL league, which is starting this weekend.
Well, it's good to see the different, communities setting up tournaments and all that. I'd like to see something, kind of on the NA side of things, but it's nice that the ENSL is opening up a North American division, and we are signed up, and we're hoping to go pretty far in that.
You're in first division, right?
Yeah, I believe we're in division #1 of the NA. So I don't know how they have it split up, but I think that's like the top
yeah,
division.
it's the top
or something.
division. I'm one of the referees for the European side. Pretty much not involved as I would like to be, but I am one of the official casters as well, so I'm gonna try to keep my best to keep everything covered so we can pull those games out there and see what people think about it.
Yeah, it's good to see things starting to expand here. I think this is just the first step of many. I do expect some type of NA only scene to kind of show up. The turnout was a lot higher than I originally expected for the NA side. There's a lot of new teams forming. I haven't been really following the European side, but I know that there's a ton of European teams, and it's good to see that. I like to see the new teams, and the one thing that's for the new teams, it's so hard, when you're first starting, because you don't necessarily know the strats. You're probably gonna lose, and yeah, it is demotivating, but once you stick through that, everything just gets a lot better. So if you can handle those initial weeks, then your team's gonna pull together, and you're really gonna get places. And that's the biggest thing that I want to advise teams of, is losing is actually good, because it gives you a chance to see what you did wrong and improve upon things. If you're never losing, then you're most likely not getting any better, because you're not doing anything wrong. So if you're a top team, teams are always going to come up and challenge you, because they're the ones that are learning. It isn't until you lose yourself that you then get that experience to go, hey, why did we lose? What did they do that we didn't, counter? And then you go, oh, okay, well, if we see this, then we know we can do X or Y.
Yeah.
That's a lot of the RTS strategy in this thing is, it's a strategy game. There are builds, there are things that you want to do, places you want to hold, and until you're in those situations, you don't realize on Tram that Tram Hub is probably the most important place on the map. And you would never get that from a
True
pub.
that.
Until you're there and you're in that experience, you just don't know.
Yeah, the disconnect between the pub games and competitive is quite large, and just don't get discouraged at the start, because you can't expect everything to go 100%. the first times you scrim, yeah, you're probably gonna lose, and that's normal. Every team goes through that. Especially, I mean, we go through that the same. You know, if we taken like a week or more off of scrimming, when we come back, yeah, we're gonna lose the first couple games because we haven't been practicing. You know, if the maps change, the build change, something else changed, you know, we're not caught up, and it takes us a while to get back in there. And yeah, people get frustrated, but we continue playing, and you know,
Yeah.
the main goal is to have fun.
One of the big tips I would give on that kind of thing is, communication. If you got to get comfortable getting on your mic and basically calling things out and trying to keep your team informed about everything that goes on in the game. And the better you communicate and the better you coordinate with your teammates on attacks and everything, the better your team will do.
Unless you're a
Coordination.
robot like Joe, of course.
Yeah.
Legend
Well,
has it that he only speaks once a year, so we're hoping that at the beginning of next year we'll actually hear his
You
voice.
don't even
but
know
we
how
don't
that guy sounds now, do you?
nope.
know.
Never heard him talk.
So,
He communicates by flashlight.
so one blink for yes, two blinks for no.
Yeah. Yeah. We have Core, our commander. You know, all Joe has to do is look up and shine the flashlight and spam it, and then Core can relay the information to us. So you know, he'll flash it once or twice, signaling okay, there's a skull, and then he'll keep flashing it for how many times, how many skulks he sees. You know, the whole process takes about 5 seconds. Usually he dies, but he takes about 4 or 5 skulks out.
So you can actually be on a competitive team if you're not talking, but you're extraordinarily good.
Yeah, you better be good.
You can. It's not preferable, but it is possible. You know, the best thing, like Dust said, is communication. The best thing overall is finding a group of people that you fit well with. You know, if like for us, we avoid drama. I mean, that's the main thing is we don't like that whole drama aspect that the game kind of brings, and that's what we kind of avoid. So everyone that's really in our team, avoids that stuff, and we don't actively seek it. So
Yeah, and one of the big things too is we've had players on our team that don't necessarily just stand out as the most amazing players you've ever seen, but their willingness to participate as a team and follow the plan and everything really has turned them into those type of players.
True.
They've been on our team for a while, and that you know they turned into amazing players just from the competitive scene and the teamwork and the increased performance that has come in recent
As
builds.
well, eh?
We have one
Yep.
guy who plays in Alaska, Raptor, and plays on a laptop, and he was able to get out there and frag pretty well, in the builds where, you weren't able to get any kind of performance on laptops.
True.
So now, he's really benefited from sticking it out because now he does really well. Still on a laptop.
So what would you guys say, what's the future of Inversion on the competitive scene?
Well, Inversion is pretty much always going to be there. We don't have any plans of disbanding or anything like that. We've been around for over a year now. We have no plans of, stopping. NS2 is kind of the game where we were founded, and it's a game we're constantly going to play. We might, take some breaks here and there to play other games if a certain build comes out that, affects performance, balance, whatever. But you'll always see Inversion around in some form or another. That's pretty much just, we've always been there. Sometimes pretty active, sometimes not very active, but we'll be
Okay
there.
then. So do you have any hopes for NS2 then? Where do you see it develop?
Me personally, I would like to see a little bit more strategy included into the game. Now that the Onos is not a third hive, or it is a third hive, we're going to see a lot of different strategies develop, and we've already started seeing that. But I think there's still a lot of things that need to be tweaked. What I would like to see is each of the starting chambers be potentially viable and have a soft counter in some form or another. that the Marines can do to counter that. This would allow a lot of diversity among teams rather than just here's the preferred strat that every team uses because it has the best chance of winning. That was the onus. Now that that's kind of taken out, they're still. I think what they need to do is find what everyone thinks is the most overpowered or the highest likelihood of winning, and kind of evaluate it and see, hey, do we need to I would rather say, instead of nerfing things, I would rather them buff other abilities to kind of bring them up. But if they have to nerf it, then they have to nerf it, and that's fine. But I definitely like to see a little bit more of that whole countering. Then scouting would be a huge thing, and it just not only will it play for the people who are actually playing the game and be more fun, it'll be better to watch. The people who are shoutcasting it and spectating, you know, it's a whole nother game. It's like when you're watching StarCraft 2. You know, you don't know what they're gonna do. And that's what I think this game could really benefit from is, you know, finding out what those.
If each side had like 6 different starts that were viable, that would bring out all sorts of different variations that you'd see in gameplay. You know, you don't have to make everything a viable start or strat, but you have to have some sort of, you know, different types of, you know, things to go with. You know, it would just be a lot more interesting, say, as a caster, if you see, you know, 3 Marines move out and only 1 building an RT and 1 throwing down mines, you know, and then you could see what the alien's doing and start giving out early predictions about how the rest of the game's going to unfold based on the starts that they choose and the strats that they're going with, and knowing that, you know, certain things are better counters to certain things. And
yeah,
you know, I think that gives a lot more interesting gameplay.
That initial battle to kind of be more influential, to kind of determine, well, if the Marines wipe the aliens, then the Marines can get in and kind of scout, see what the aliens are most likely doing, kind of change their strategy to counter that. The aliens still have no idea what the Marines are doing, so, you know, they could be doing something completely different. So that initial push needs to be pretty big.
Yeah, true.
But the game has come a long way, and I'm pretty happy with where it's at right now. There's a couple things that need to change, but I think overall, once kind of these holidays settle down and we get in the full swing of ENSL, we're gonna see a bunch of different options come out, become available to the teams. And I think
from what I heard, even unknown worlds apply to the ENSL.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw that Hugh created Unknown Worlds and he was on the team. I don't know if anyone else has joined, but that's cool that the developers are interested. I remember they played some competitive games a while back.
They joined a couple tournaments.
They played against 156. They played against 420, a couple other teams. We were kind of inactive at the time, so. But it's cool to see them becoming involved.
True.
You know, the game is fun, so hey.
Yeah.
That kind of goes to show that, you know, I mean, everyone makes fun of the developers for their skill. Some of them are actually pretty talented. Some, you know, not so much, but that kind of goes to show you that any team can really become competitive. It doesn't matter if you're a community team or anything like that. If there's enough teams, there's going to be different divisions. So you're not going to be playing against the uber high-end teams. You're going to be playing against teams that are more in your skill level. And as you kind of advance and get better, there's a possibility that you can get bumped up to a higher division and challenge yourself even more. But unless we have those teams that become active, then it's really going to be hard to fill that gap between the high end and then, you know, starting out. And that's, you know, kind of what I want to see is more teams.
So what would you think, guys, about the Crapocalypse?
Well, I don't know. This Crapocalypse, it seems like we're all screwed. I don't know. What do you think, Dusk?
I'm pretty skeptical. I don't know. I can't imagine crabs actually posing any kind of legitimate threat.
I don't
You know,
know.
sure, maybe the Mayans predicted something like this happening, but I'm one of the ones who are just skeptical of the whole thing.
Well, like Raptor said, we'll either have a huge feast, or it'll be a big, just everyone will just die. So I think the best plan of action is to churn a
Stock
lot
up
of
on
butter
butter.
and make sure that you have
Crab
your
mallet.
crab mallet. Yeah, just in case. And yeah,
Hey,
if you're
wait.
gonna die, at least have a
That
nice crab
reminds
dinner
me.
before you go.
Gordon Freeman uses crowbar for crabs.
Yeah,
Really?
I find that crowbars tend to kind of damage the meat. Kind of want to just crack that shell open nicely, get a nice piece.
You know,
But
a good line of
you know.
defense for yourself would be like a moat of boiling water around your house, so that the crabs just
But
get themselves
you know,
on
it's
their way
it's
in.
kind of a like if there are enough crabs, they're gonna be overfilling the water, so it's only a temporarily defense.
Yeah, it's
I've kind of figured that I live in Chicago, which is
Windy
pretty
city.
central U.S. And there's no crabs. There's no crabs in the Great Lakes, so the only place that they can come from. I mean, Jonah keeps telling us that these crabs are more advanced, and I don't know. I haven't seen a crab yet that walks on 2 feet, so I'm still skeptical. But I think if they did invade places like New York, Los Angeles, they would get hit first. So if you're living in New York or Los Angeles, I feel sorry for you, but at
yeah.
least you're gonna
Raptor
have
lives
a
in
crab
Alaska,
dinner.
so he'll be able to tell us first about how serious the crab apocalypse is.
I figured I'd have at least a year or two. I mean, crabs are not very fast. How long do you think it's gonna take them to scuttle along from
Yeah.
the ocean to here? So I think I got plenty of time to stock up.
It's gonna start in 2012, but end in like 2023. That's a slow apocalypse.
So,
Very drawn
what
out.
are your hours of play, guys? And what do you think of chance of people encountering on your servers? And do you prefer any particular ones?
Well, currently we've been playing a lot on Garfu's Pub Stomp, which he's one of our players, and he started a server called Garfu's Pub Stomp, and he welcomes noobs.
Hence the
He
pump
enjoys
stuff
playing
part. Huh?
against them.
Because he pub stomps. But yeah.
You know, but no, if you meet us, in servers or anything, come, say hi, and we're all pretty friendly guys,
Yeah.
and
Don't
gals,
forget Rentology.
and we
She might be
we always
pissed.
Of course not. And we're always happy to help people out and give advice, and we're not the type of people who are super critical of people who want to try different things or try
Well,
content or
we're
anything
different.
like that. We're all pretty kicked back.
Well, we're pretty chill.
We're pretty chill.
That's what I heard around. So, while we're at it, what would you say about different people set? There is something called the pug obsession in your side.
Yes. Don't get me started about the pug lover.
Well, the person you're talking about is gorgeous, and he's insanely obsessed with pugs. Like,
I think he just
we'll be in
feels
the middle.
bad because the pugs, they got the short end of the evolution
Like-
stick. I mean, seriously, they don't have a face. It's kind of
They're
just
pretty-
a flat.
They're pretty
wall.
ugly and can't breathe or anything. It's just a
Yeah.
mess. But I
So-
mean, he'll interrupt. We'll be in the middle of a match, about to win, and he'll interrupt us and post a pug picture in TeamSpeak and make us all go look at it.
Or before a tournament, he'll give us some pug motivation pictures to motivate us.
Mm-hmm. Pugs in costumes,
And
things like
it
that.
usually doesn't work for Rantology because she just gets disgusted and
She
probably
absolutely
goes over
hates hugs.
and hits
You
him.
know, that
so
reminds me. I think I
Right.
saw a picture
I don't know.
of Pug dressed in a crab costume. Is that the kind of crapocalypse we can hope for?
Well,
Maybe
if that's the
pug-
case, I think the Crabocalypse just lost a lot of its potency. I don't see pugs as the most vicious of creatures.
You know, I'd hate to see the pugs go to the dark side, the crab side, but you know, if they tempted them with something, I don't even know what it is, and Gorgeous is the ringleader of the pugs, and Jonah is the ringleader of the crabs, then I don't know. Maybe there is some merit to the whole invasion. I don't know. Maybe the
Yeah,
crabs
Gorgeous
are
would
gonna
bring
ride
a
on
lot
the
of
back
credibility
pugs.
to the or to the crab invasion.
Yeah, the crabs will have something to kind of transfer their troops with. The pugs will be like transport.
Just latch onto them and
With
move
claws.
slightly faster than crabs could move.
All the while they're dying because they can't breathe.
Yeah, they can only
They do
sprint
tend to
short
have like
distances at a
heart
time.
problems or something.
Yeah, they're just.
Yeah, like I said, evolution
I
really
Gave them the
the
shaft, eh?
short end of the stick.
That's what she said.
Yeah, they pretty much screwed them over. I don't know, did she?
I think she said Bug's pretty chill.
Could you give me her
Right,
number?
so you know that the long distance relationships just kind of don't work and cut it. What would you say over the intercontinental ones? What
Oh, those
away
are
from?
easy.
You think of what away from eyes,
See, I
away
prefer
from the
people I
heart
never
style.
see.
Hey, that way you can't get yelled at.
Familiarity breeds contempt, so the less you know about each other, I guess the better you like each other.
Oh well.
Or is it?
No, that's hard to say.
You
Okay,
see
how
what I
are
did there,
Marines always
Dust?
losing their IPs in the CS? I saw what you did. And I'm still having trouble living that one down.
Good times. But we can't forget about
What's with him?
our Canadian on the team. No. Well, I don't know. He likes to get drunk and talk about mustard, but only when it's on his shirt. It's kind of interesting.
Which is actually every time he drinks for some strange reason.
He also likes to talk about hookers and chopbacks. Don't ask me why, but
It's a
True.
Canadian thing.
yeah, we figure it's like a Canadian pastime is you get a
Hockey,
hooker
shopbacks, and hookers.
and don't forget maple syrup.
Yeah, maple syrup.
But yeah, when he's telling a story, you don't know when it's gonna end because it just ends. Like you don't think it's the end, but it really
Like,
is.
what do you think?
It's just interesting.
What do you think about that, guys?
Well, you know, it's not that I actually want to hear him talk, so whenever he cuts his stories short, it's
So-
kind of a blessing. But
So what your other guy on the team lacks, the
Yeah.
Canadian has too much up front, right? But he
yeah, yeah, he's quite the player, but you know, you also have to put up
so
with him if
it's
you want him on
kind
your
of like
team.
double negative, huh?
Yeah, it makes a positive.
You know, I think that he's more of a motivator because we feel bad that number one, he's Canadian, and number two, that he is who he is. I think he's more of a motivator than the pugs are. Because we all go, oh,
But he didn't finish
tried
up
to
the
talk.
story now, did he?
Yeah. But we love Andrew. In that
Yeah, and
non-gay kind of way.
well, we can't speak for everybody, you know.
Well, we don't know about Dr. Phil. I mean, I don't know.
All right. So
He's pretty chill.
what
Definitely.
else is there on the list? Pretty much nothing. We're done with everything except the last question. Who would you recommend for the next interview? We're done with
See who's gone
Duplex
already.
for
What
now
teams?
as the clan leader and Nexil.
I guess old ass gamers.
Oh my god.
I'm sure
who
they can
who
give
do I
you a
get
pretty
from
good
that?
show.
I have
Oh
to write
God.
it down.
Pooh Fighter? Definitely gotta get Pooh Fighter. He always tempts me with candy and cookies, but he never gives me it, so I don't know why I keep showing up.
Yeah, why do you keep getting in the van?
Seems legit. Eh?
The van is so tempting. Come on. He's an old guy. He has candy. It's a beaten down red van, and it says free candy. So I mean, it seems legit.
Free
Every
candy,
time I
clothing
go,
optional.
duh. I mean, it's an
And you'll
experience
have to
every
give
time I go to
me
that
some
TeamSpeak. It
some
really is.
some sort of a contact, boy. Oh my god.
I can give you his.
Yeah,
I
I'll
can
hook
see
you up
it.
with it.
name. But yeah, those guys are they bring everything to a whole new level. Like, you thought something was funny? No.
I can see the
You gotta
new
wait until
forms.
they see it. They have
I
like
can see
this
the new forms of STD forming
crazy
as we
squad.
speak.
But no, they're good. They got you know, he actually rents out servers for the Europeans. He's got some pretty good hardware running there at his home, so you know, he's doing a
You
lot to
got
help
even
out the
live
community.
up there. Okay, so guys, we're gonna bring this to an end. So thank you for these interviews. Thank you for the recommendations. Yeah, thank you for
Thank you.
finally getting the time.
Thank you for
and
having
me
us.
hitting the time period right. Yeah, we should.
Yeah,
definitely
well, those
cancel
time
those.
zones, they're quite difficult.
If somebody can, America
work on that.
can. So
I'll write my
Yeah, we'll
timers
try to.
down.
okay, so
I'll try to be the ringleader on that
thank
one.
you guys, and see you next time.
Yeah, Dusk.